To the Chicago Bears Detroit Lions game preview here. I'm joined by Mid-Major Matt and Brian Leonard from Sports Memo and WagerTalk.com. Brian, coming to you first. We got the Detroit Lions hosting the Chicago Bears here and giving 3 points at home. Talking about the Detroit side, 44 being the total. What are your thoughts on kickoff? Football's finally here.
Yeah, it is, and we're excited to be here talking about it here. Divisional game, obviously. I've got concerns from Chicago's standpoint. Offensive line concerns. Are they going to move to more two-end sets this year to try to protect the quarterback? And, do they have a quarterback controversy? You pay all that money for Foles, and now all of a sudden you've got all this money tied up in your quarterbacks, and you're going back to Trubisky, who really hasn't proven anything since he's been there. They got major injuries and depth concerns in the secondary. That's their major concern right now. They've got really good pass rushers, good linebackers, good defensive line, but when you've got so many injuries in the defensive backfield, they could be burned by long passes. And hey, Matthew Stafford was ranked first in completed air yards before his injury cost him half the season last year. This is a guy, he's getting better each and every year. I really like who he's got there to throw to this year. They've got major improvements in the secondary. That was a weakness for Detroit a year ago. They ranked first in quarterback spending a year ago, now 11th. And the way that works is they had so much money tied into Stafford last year. This year, they can build around him, and I think they've done a nice job of that.
Yeah, and Matt, like Brian said, the quarterback issue here with Chicago and going up against Detroit in Matthew Stafford, always tough to judge a team when their starting quarterback goes down. We got that situation here with the Lions laying 3 at home. What are your thoughts on the Bears and Lions?
Well, yeah, you can't look too much at the statistics from last year, especially the Detroit side, because the two quarterbacks were David Blah and Jeff Driscoll. So you can't expect much from the Detroit Lions offense when it comes to last year's games. The things I'm looking at in this matchup is, A, the Lions went out and hired a new defense coordinator, and it's his Corey Undlin, who is the Eagles secondary coach. Now, we know, look, Matt Patricia is probably going to still put the defense together. He was a defensive coordinator in New England. But it was kind of a head-scratching hire because the Eagles' worst unit year after year was the secondary. And so Corey Undlin comes over, and the first thing he needs to fix is this was a defense that allowed the second most fourth quarter points, had the second least amount of sacks, and allowed the most passing yards in the league. So, of course, what do? They get rid of Darius Slay, but they bring in Desmond Trufant, who I like. He's not a bad number one, and the Okudah kid, who they drafted third, Jeffrey Okudah, he's another guy who's going to help out this secondary. We talk about Mitchell Trubisky. He's 3-0 against the Lions. He averages nearly 300 passing yards against the Lions. He's a guy that, look, I don't want to trust, and I don't feel comfortable, necessarily laying points with him. When you look at Chicago, they've beaten the Lions 4 straight, 101-71 in those games. The clear coaching advantage goes in the Chicago sideline. I'm not a Matt Patricia guy, so it'll be interesting. By the way, no fans for this game in Detroit on Sunday.
Yeah, no fans could be part of the handicap there. And Brian, coming to you, 44 being the total, Detroit Lions -3 at home. What are you thinking? Side total? Do you have a lean or a play in this game?
I do. Detroit right now is looking at 3 -110. Actually, you can get 3 + 100 here. When you have no fans in the stadium, obviously you're not going to get the full home field advantage. In fact, normally what I did last couple of years, home field advantage seems to be disintegrating right before our eyes. I had 2.5 if it was non-divisional games, and 2 for divisional games, just as a every team you got to take a look at separately, but so home field advantage isn't going to be very high here. But I like this Detroit team. I think this Detroit team is a team on the rise. I think Chicago is a team that's going to struggle. And with Stafford coming back, Stafford was really playing really well last year before he got hurt. I'm big on the quarterbacks here, and to me, there's no doubt that Detroit's got the better quarterback. I like the points laying the points here with Detroit. I think it's a little bit cheap. I like the Lions.
He's Brian Leonard on Twitter @BLeonardSports. We got Mid-Major Matt on Twitter @MidMajor Matt. Matt, coming to you in conclusion here, 44 being the total, Lions laying 3 at home. Do you have a play or a lean in this one?
I mean, obviously, we're hovering around that key number of 3 here. But to me, I mean, look, based off of everything, it's going to be interesting to see if David Montgomery plays, because I think if Montgomery plays, then the Bears can go to that run game a little bit more. Tariq Cohen represents a little bit different look for that team, as he's the third down guy, the Darren Sproles type for the Chicago Bears. The big question is, when you look at this game, are you comfortable with the better team, who I think is the Bears, but with Mitch Trubisky, who is the biggest downfall for them? Are you comfortable, with the 3 points for the Bears? And basically, if you want to answer the question yes, then you take Chicago. If you don't, then maybe you go and you make the Lions money line, maybe, if you don't feel comfortable laying the 3. But to me, I just, you have to ask yourself, week 1 of the NFL season, do you want to bet on Mitchell Trubisky? And if the question's yes, take the Bears. If the question's no, then look at the Lions.
For Mid-Major Matt, Brian Leonard, I am Drew Martin. And guys, remember, $9 Mondays at sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com each and every Monday. All plays discounted to just $9.